Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle, that is Mike. We're here to break down tomorrow's 8-game total slate, I guess you would call it. There's 3 games early, 4 games main, and then you have the one outlier, which is Colorado-Seattle playing at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, so nice little short slate. Obviously, Thursday is the travel day in baseball. Thursdays and Mondays normally. So a little bit different strategies are involved in short slates. We've talked about that enough. DraftKings has a 4-game early and a 4-game main. So I guess it's a bit different than FanDuel. You said 3 games were early?
Yes.
Okay, so the DraftKings is including all 4 early games, and I guess the one that FanDuel is not including is the 3:40 game in Seattle, I would imagine.
Okay. Yeah, it's the Colorado-Seattle one.
So again, different strategies are involved when you're playing short slates, and we'll get into that when we talk about who we like and why.
Yes, sir. Carlos Martinez today. We talked about him on that River Show. Max Scherzer's balling right now. Jacob deGrom didn't do so well, but who else? Carlos Martinez. White Sox stack did terrible. The only player I played from that stack was Melky, so I'm glad about that.
Yeah, your top 3 pitchers so far. We're recording this at 12:20 Eastern time, so it's the 7th inning in this late slate. Most of these games. Top 3 pitchers on DraftKings scoring: Carlos Martinez, Drew Pomeranz, and Max Scherzer. So all of the numbers that pointed, I don't know if we pointed out last night on the show, but I know we talked about it at length in the show for the members about how lefties dominate. The White Sox lefties dominate. You know, all the power numbers are top 5 in baseball.
Yep.
They just go out and put up a number on sale, and now Pomeranz goes out and it shuts them down. So, hey, again, that is baseball for you guys. It really is. Definitely screwed up some of my lineups tonight.
Yes, sir. We got Oakland-Cleveland opening up at 9 o'clock my time here on the West Coast. That's going to be fun. Be up early, dealing with that. Corey Kluber is coming back from the DL. I think right now he's pointing to the top play. Oakland strikes out a ton. Probably one of the better strikeout pitchers, arguably the best in the Cleveland rotation.
I think he's their ace. If I had to choose.
Yeah.
Kluber, he made his rehab start in Double-A, worked 5 innings, no runs, 1 hit, no walks. So nice. Obviously gets the call here. So, you mentioned it, at home versus Oakland. If you look at the top price guys on the all day or the early, you know, he's got the top matchup for Ks.
Yeah. So I think Kluber's that guy. He's the highest priced guy as well on the slate, so it makes sense. And then Jarrell Cotton. Can we attack him tomorrow? I think these Cleveland lefties, you know, obviously Jose Ramirez. I'm looking at Carlos Santana, Francisco Lindor down to 3,200 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, 6 home runs in his last 8 or 17 innings, it looks like.
Yep.
So it's not a good ratio. Give up 3 home runs versus the Angels, and the Angels are currently being shut out.
No, they just scored a run. They just scored a run.
So, yeah, I don't know. Jarrell Cotton, obviously, maybe he's not refined himself as far as his pitch selection or something. It's not, his AAA success hasn't translated to the majors so far. I think you can go after him today. Again, 4-game slate. We have different strategies. You know, I think you ride with the pitching chalk, especially if you look at this early slate. I think if Kluber's the guy that everyone's on, I mean, even if you're a tournament player, I think on a 4-game slate, the strategy is to kind of meet the ownership.
I think the only person that's going to steal ownership is Brandon McCarthy because he's been pitching well.
Right. Yeah. There is and the Cardinals aren't a team to be too afraid of,
Yeah, exactly. So if you're stacking against Cotton, are you looking at the same? I think you got to look at Zimmer too. Bradley Zimmer is definitely cheap and been hitting well since he's been called up.
Yeah, the hard contact number this year is interesting that righties are hitting him harder by a quite significant margin.
Yeah, almost double.
So that is interesting.
Couple guys to look out for on Oakland: Jed Lowry, Chris Davis, and Chad Pinder. So on FanDuel, you got to pick between Pinder and Lowry. Pinder hit 2 home runs today, stays hot. He's been killing righties so far this year. So is Jed Lowry though. So make your pick there. And then Chris Davis, we know what he does. So
yeah, he hits the ball a long way when he gets into one. I was looking at this slate. If you look at hard contact by team batting versus the handedness of the pitcher, Oakland is up there, man. They do hit the ball hard versus righties.
they definitely do.
You look at just the hard contact number. So, again, they take big swings.
All right. Milwaukee, New York, Chase Anderson and Zach Wheeler on the hill. Wheeler's been, he's had some command issues. He gets himself into trouble by walking some guys, but he's not getting lit up, so that's a positive. But I do think he can be attacked. This Brewers offense is waking up a little bit. That'll be Hernan Perez. So Thames, Shaw, Broxton hit another home run today. I think you can look there.
Yep, I agree. I think this is makings of a game stack, I think. I'll be interested to see if they decide to lead Sogard off again. Got on base 4 times today. Improved that already insane OBP over the past week.
Yeah.
And was super cheap. If he's going to lead off again tomorrow under 3K, I'm definitely going to have him in my lineup. And I probably will try to 2-man or even 3-man with some of these run producers right behind him. It just makes sense. Guy gets on base, other guys knock him in against a pitcher that I don't feel too afraid of. He has limited the long ball somewhat.
Lefties are his Achilles heel, though.
Right, and Thames, I think 2 straight solid performances. He hit a home run tonight, and then what was it? The day before, he had a triple. 2 hits with a triple. Yeah, so 2 straight solid performances. He's still under 4,000 on DraftKings. Look at Eric Thames compared to Lucas Duda's price. I don't know how that happens.
He's only $2,900 on FanDuel.
Yeah, so Lucas Duda's $700 more than Eric Thames tomorrow on DraftKings.
Same price on FanDuel, so that'll be interesting to see where you go there. But yeah.
Yeah, it just makes. I think Eric Thames is the play. Chase Anderson also hasn't looked very good, having control issues as well. Again, I think you can game stack here.
Los Angeles, St. Louis, we talked about Brandon McCarthy. I think he is the pivot off of Kluber. Wainwright is interesting from a play. I don't think I want to pitch Wainwright, but I don't know if I stack against him either. He's actually been pitching really well this year.
He's always been solid, man. I don't think he's the ace that he once was, but he still, knows how to get guys out. He's coming off 2 straight solid performances, 3 straight quality starts. Keeping the ball on the ground. He's got double-digit ground balls in 3 of his last 4 games. So, on a nice little stretch after somewhat of a rough start to the season.
Yeah.
And I agree. I don't know that I want to stack against him, especially, Carlos Martinez. You saw what he did against the Dodgers today. Broke a bit of a winning streak there. So, I don't know. Brandon McCarthy, a lot of green there.
Yeah,
I know.
Good combination of strikeouts and ground balls. So talk about that.
Yeah, I think he's. Other than Kershaw, he's kind of been their most consistent performer. He's currently 5-1 with a 3.62. Like you said, solid strikeout numbers. Keeps the ball on the ground. Nothing that lights up the radar. But it is only a 4-game slate, so I could see it.
Colorado, Seattle. This is a game on FanDuel that is not on Main
Not.
Slate, and on
Yeah.
DraftKings it's the last one on the early. We know what Seattle typically does versus lefties. They broke out of that slump in Colorado. Do we go back to Freeland tomorrow? I don't think there's enough K upside for him.
Ah, man, I don't know. I think if you want to pay down, I could see it. Like, I'd rather pay for Freeland over Darrell Cotton, I think,
Yeah.
against Cleveland. But, Gallardo hasn't been good. I could see Colorado winning this game. And, he's been okay. He hasn't been terrible. I think from a DFS perspective, he's not really a guy that makes me take a second look. But those numbers against lefties, are real. And obviously, it didn't work out with Tyler Anderson last game. But I don't know. Could the numbers against lefties, could that sample size still be a bit misleading? I know we're almost to June, but
it still is a small sample size, right? How
like
often do you face lefties?
Right. So I think it still could be a bit misleading when we look at complete numbers versus lefties until maybe we get to after the All-Star break.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see about that. I don't think I attack Kyle Freeland, but I don't know if I'm pitching him yet.
Yeah, that was just another thought because I looked at all the numbers again with the White Sox versus lefties as a team, and we saw what happened today. So that's burned me twice this week, looking at team batting versus lefties, and I started to think perhaps it's a little too early to build rosters solely around things like that.
That's a fair point. Onto the main Boston at Baltimore. Eduardo Rodriguez, huge K upside. Does pitch to fly balls and in a hitter's park. Baltimore also kind of woke up today. And then Wade Miley, who I think is starting to regress a little bit. K numbers are dropping back to kind of where they were. He's had a high whip the entire year, so some of those walks are starting to bite him.
Yeah, I don't think Wade Miley. I'm not buying that as him being this, second coming or nothing like that. So I think Boston's in play. Obviously, Boston, Baltimore. This has been a heated. They're definitely coming to play. Like you mentioned, Chris Davis hit a bomb on a hanger today, but it was off a call up. So, and then Adam Jones had himself 5 RBIs today after sitting out the 2 games before. And we know what Adam Jones feels about Boston coming to Camden Yards. So
Adam Jones is the guy that, I'm kind of looking at him and Wellington Castillo is going to be on the DL. Sorry. Maybe look for Francisco Pena to play tomorrow. That's a cheap catcher punt against the lefty.
Perhaps. I still like Eddie, man. I still like Eddie Rodriguez in this game. I know, like we said, the Baltimore bats have woken up.
I do too.
But this guy has been cruising, man. He's like, you ever play Cruising USA, where you're like sitting there on the bike? That's what this dude is just doing.
No.
Just cruising.
never even heard of it.
Wow,
But yeah, no, I agree. He is.
I'm sure many people have. Cruising USA is one of the best games. It's like cruising, yeah, Cruising USA. No, not ringing a bell.
No, not at all. I played Call of Duty.
Damn. This is like Sega Genesis, dude. This is not Call of Duty status.
Yeah, I played.
Anyway, what I mean by cruising is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight quality starts for Eduardo Rodriguez.
So definitely someone you can look at. I agree. I was on in my player pool for pitchers on the preliminary.
He has played in Baltimore too. Gave up 1 hit, struck out 7 in that game.
Yeah.
Walked 5. It's not good, but.
New York, Toronto, CC Sabathia, and Marco Estrada. Now I am on a Toronto stack. Josh Donaldson had the day off today. Jose Bautista. I know it's expensive, but I'm looking at obviously Donaldson, Bautista, Tulo, and Russell Martin has been hot.
Yeah, this whole team's been hot, man. Again, Donaldson back seemingly has helped Bautista a lot. Tulo being back, I mean, it's just made this lineup much more full than it was. I buy it, man. I think the Yankees coming to town. I think they're going to be ready to play as well. CC, this is a travel day for them. They're coming from Baltimore to Toronto. So the lefty on the mound, I mean, how does that fare with this lineup, do you think? Probably not good.
No,
Obviously, Justin Smoke, I think, is better from the left side. So maybe a little bit of a... Maybe he doesn't even play tomorrow. I think they have been sitting him some. Devon Travis has been hot. So...
Devon Travis is the other guy I'm looking at. So, I think one of those 5 guys, I look at fading both first basemen tomorrow.
Yeah. So. Agree. But yeah, Sabathia, he has been playing well, but his last 3 starts were Oakland, Tampa, and Kansas City. So I would expect him to kind of play well in those 3 starts. I think you can definitely attack Sabathia today with this hot lineup. I think you can.
Yeah, I'm on a Baltimore stack. Or, I'm sorry, Toronto stack. And Yankees against Estrada. So Mike pulled up his
game logs.
He's pitched well versus them in real life, but I don't know how DFS relevant they've been.
It might be worthy on a 4-game slate, though. I mean, he is pitching probably the best ball of his career, I think, this recent stretch for Estrada. And he has dominated the Yankees as of late. I mean, again, the strikeout number, the totals haven't really been there, so that's why it's not really considered a DFS play. But he's, quality start after quality start versus the Yanks. It's been frustrating to watch, and I had to pull up the game logs just to, validate that thought. So I do like Estrada tomorrow versus the Yanks. Once again,
yeah.
And you look at the pricing. Obviously, Greinke is on this slate at 12-7 versus Miami, so. It'll be interesting to see what percentage of people jam Greinke in on DraftKings. We need 2 pitchers, even though Miami is, hitting the ball hard.
I already plugged Greinke into my main lineups on FanDuel.
Yeah, and I think most people will do the same.
I'm just learning.
I'm inclined to play Estrada and Eduardo Rodriguez, but if the chalk pitcher is Greinke, I think. On short slates, you really do have to have him.
I'm just learning, man. Pay up for pitching. If it's in a good spot, and there's so many bets. Like, for example, Eric Young just hit a home run. He's 2,100 tonight.
He did?
Yep.
Nice, man.
So, yeah, I mean...
I was on him.
Same. Yeah, I played him in all my late lines, so...
Good deal.
There's so many cheap guys that have the potential to go off and outscore guys that are 4K. Eric Young is now outscoring Charlie Blackmon. Nolan Arenado.
Right. So that is the case, but I think finding cheap 2-mans and cheap one-offs and paying up completely at pitcher, I think is something I like to do more on deep slates. But I think on 4-game slates, you really do have to have a deep stack. I think odds that one of those 8 teams is going to highly outscore the rest of the 7 teams is it's a lot higher in a sense. So I think you do have to have a deep stack. I think Toronto could potentially be that stack for me tomorrow. And I don't know if I feel comfortable going Eduardo Rodriguez and Estrada with a Toronto stack, whereas instead of Greinke and Rodriguez with a Minnesota stack, I might consider it.
Yeah, that's fair. Greinke and Locke in this Arizona-Miami game. Miami's been swinging the bats well, so you do mention that. It is in a pitcher's park that helps Greinke's case, where he is much better, I think, away than at home. Obviously, park plays a huge role in that. And then you have Jeff Locke, who supposedly will start tomorrow for Vance Worley, and he'll shift back to the bullpen. That is yet to be 100% confirmed, but it's looking like that's going to be the case.
It has not been 100% confirmed, but he has come up. So I did a little bit of reading on Jeff Locke. He Was pitching for the Pirates last 3 years. Actually was an all-star in 2013. Was a 35-38 with a 4.41 ERA for Pittsburgh. And then halfway through last season, they kind of relegated him to a bullpen role, let him go. Miami picked him up for $3 million on a one-year deal. And in spring training, they thought he was going to miss a few days with some left bicep tendonitis. Is he a lefty?
Yes, he is.
So that's concerning. He's supposed to miss a few days, ended up missing a few months here. He stayed in Single A, where their minor league team is or whatever, for the last 2 months trying to get it right. And now I guess he's going to be back, and they want to get him right into the starting role where they signed him to be this year. So.
So interesting, Mike. Looking at some of the numbers, again, I know it's small sample size. We just talked about that. Arizona has not fared well versus lefties this year either. Hitting righties much better.
Mm-hmm. And we know that, Chase Field is, almost like Coors, not really, but
it has
in a sense, you talk about the numbers and the shift from home to away ballparks. I think definitely something to consider with Arizona. Greinke, what did he do last time? It was in Milwaukee, I believe. Do you remember? I think
Greinke. I
don't remember him having a good
game. He didn't pitch well. He got very, very average game. I believe he didn't even get the quality start. I believe he gave up 4 or 5 runs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Again, I'm not 100% sold on just jamming Greinke in tomorrow. I think it'll depend. If I project 50+ ownership on him tomorrow, I probably just will. Again, because that is a strategy on a 4-game slate. It makes more sense to do that than to, what the opportunity cost would be otherwise.
Yeah.
But there is a case to be made of double dipping here and going Justin Bour, who hit another 2 home runs today. I mean, you put him. Talked about Eric Dames.
Yeah, I honestly don't even mind playing Justin Bour and Zach Greinke.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely some. I mean, Justin Bour is the guy, right, that you most positive can hit the home run. I like the Yelich-Bour 2-man stack, both lefties. Yelich, a guy that hits line drives, gets on base, and Bour, big uppercut swing. So, it makes sense. And then again, it makes a lot of sense to, again, go after a guy that's coming off of Single A hitting for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Against an Arizona team that we've been talking about all year long for their offense. So. No. I imagine Arizona will have a lot of ownership today.
I'm with you, man. And then Minnesota, LA, Alberto Mejia and JC Ramirez. I don't know, man. I think Pujols, you got to play him tomorrow again. If you, especially in the late slate at least. I don't know. You have to play him in the main, but. Against the lefty tomorrow, that's a good matchup for him, hitting 600. I don't think he hits it tonight.
3 straight lefties now for the Angels.
Yeah.
I imagine we'll see Eric Young again.
Probably. He's switch hitting, yeah.
So.
And then against JC Ramirez, I think he's very attackable, especially from the left side of the plate, man. And that's, I think, a lot of the Twins' power.
I'm seeing DraftKings says Alex Meyer, but I don't see why that would be.
I believe he doesn't come back until Saturday.
Meyer will come off the 10-day DL and rejoin the rotation Thursday against the Twins.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
According to the Los Angeles Times.
Okay, so that'll change. So Alex Meyer, obviously a righty, changes. Oh no, both pitchers are righties.
I thought he was a lefty. Yeah, he's a lefty.
Alex Meyer is a righty. JC Ramirez is also a righty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
gotcha. They're both righties.
Doesn't change the hand, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Truce.
Here, let's.
Yeah, I mean Alex Meyer, he is having he's dealing with some back issues. Hasn't looked good, man. 1.63 WHIP, 16.8% walk rate. He's got an ERA almost at 6. Minnesota is a team that can couple runs. I like going Minnesota today. I mentioned that, in passing earlier, but I do like that stack.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Alex Meyer, his numbers are pulling up right now. That's okay. So he also struggles versus lefties. So I see no reason not to look at some Twins lefties tomorrow. Kenny's Vargas, Max Kepler, Jason Castro's heating up a little bit, maybe. Hit a home run the other day. Eddie Rosario, Eduardo Escobar if he plays. I think there's some guys on the Twins to look at. So
I like the Maldonado punt versus a lefty.
Yep, that's I think.
Right? Isn't he a lefty?
He is, yes.
Or he's a righty.
I think that's a thing.
That's definitely a thing. I like that punt. He's still cheap, 2,800. Jason Castro also 2,800, like you said. Did hit a home run, had a double yesterday as well. So he is another lefty.
Yeah, buddy. All right, so we'll do this too. Two favorite pitchers in the early to play, two to attack, and then same for the main.
Okay. Un momento. Go back to early. I'm much more confident jamming in Kluber than I am Greinke tomorrow. Is that crazy? It's kind of crazy. I mean, Kluber's been on the DL.
No, I don't think it is.
Greinke's been crushing. So I like Kluber. I like him a lot. Where I'm going to go with my SP2, I don't know yet, man. I think Brandon McCarthy makes the most sense, right? Just go and Kluber and McCarthy, like you said, paying up to both pitchers. I think Wainwright you make a case for. Again, he's been consistent. And then you got Freeland, lefty versus Seattle. But I think Kluber and McCarthy make the most sense. Until I can find stats to tell me, put me on somebody else, or maybe lineup construction doesn't work with it. But before building lineups here, I want to start with Kluber and McCarthy. And then if I'm going to attack somebody, I want to attack kind of want to attack Jarrell Cotton, and I kind of want to attack. I'm gonna go Chase Anderson. Okay. It's tough between him and Zach Wheeler, but
yeah. So I'm actually on the same guys, Kluber and McCarthy for my pitchers, and attacking Chase Anderson and with those Mets lefties and Jarrell Cotton. I have a Cleveland Zach already in play. So, and then for the main for me, I'm on Zach Greinke. And I am on Eduardo Rodriguez. Those are my two pitchers. And then pitchers to attack. I actually think so. I'm going to definitely attack CC with Toronto. And I think I'm going to attack Alex Meyer.
Yeah, I like the same two stacks. Toronto and Minnesota are my two favorite stacks tomorrow. This Boston-Baltimore game is going to be interesting on both sides. I think I could see this game playing out in many different ways. So I'm a bit hesitant with Eduardo Rodriguez, but like I said, 7 straight quality starts. He had a one-hit outing at Baltimore in the past. So I think, I'll dig into a little bit more, but he's my favorite play tomorrow. And then I'm still trying to deciding. I think it's going to come down to ownership as to whether or not I want Greinke or Estrada in my lineup. Yeah.
That's fair.
I agree, man. It's going to be interesting building lineups again. Especially if you're paying up at pitchers, obviously you're going to have to look for value, and I like Eric Sogard once again if he's leading off. He is a second baseman, I believe, in that early slate,
second
right?
Base or shortstop, yeah.
And then again, we talked about Eric Young getting another home run tonight. I imagine he'll play again, and he's going to be a cheap outfielder tomorrow. He's only 2,400.
Yeah, he's right.
So 2 value guys I like a lot.
So, all right. Well, best of luck tomorrow, guys. We will. Yeah, I guess we'll do a lock show for the main. Be like a quick 15-minute quick hits, kind of where we're at, and build from there. So.
Sounds good. If you guys are listening live and you want to play some golf, man, get in the line, get your lineups in.
That, and as always, shout out to Goodyear Footwear for sponsoring the Phenom. If you guys are interested, a 15%. It would be nice if they were free. 15% discount code on all shoes purchased at their site. Not bad prices at all. We already got a couple pairs, so you just use the code Fantasy Phenom, capital F, capital P. Link will be in the description, and take advantage, man.
Yeah, definitely go check it out. They got boots, shoes, casual shoes, really nice performance, like racing shoes. Obviously, they make tires, so they know how to, know how the rubber meets the road in a sense. So you can bet the quality is there, and I'm excited to get them so we can show you guys on camera.
Yes, sir. So, all right, guys, we'll have a wonderful night and profitable Thursday morning.